Hello, my name is Naomi Dillard, and I am your host for this episode of the College and Career Readiness Podcast. Today we are joined by our special guest, Marisa Hardy, Director of Strive Giving. Before we start our interview, remember to take control of your future. Join the California Army National Guard and serve your community during local and state emergencies. You'll learn marketable skills, earn a paycheck, and get money for school. Contact Sergeant Aquino today at 916-233-7615. Can you tell me a little bit about your job?
Yes. So I founded a nonprofit organization called Strive Giving. And so what we do is our goal is to bridge the gap from traditional education to real life skills through different partnerships, networking, and sponsoring events.
Okay. What does an average day of work look like for you?
Yes, so it's very different than what I was used to. I was in the education world before, so took a different career path. But one of the biggest things in terms of my job each and every day is to reach out, so the network. So probably about 50 to 60% of my time is emailing, reaching out to people, meeting with different business owners, nonprofits, picking their brain to see if we can partner with them, how we can partner with them, and then really kind of bringing these experts together so when we do hold an event that we've got some really great people sharing their expertise and their experience to prepare people for the real world.
What was your inspiration behind this career?
So originally I was in education. So I just finished up being assistant principal in Stockton for 2 years. I was a teacher and a coach in Rockland. So I really was able to experience some very diverse populations and realize that in both communities that there was a gap between what you're learning in school and getting ready for the real world. So thinking about financial literacy or taxes or interview skills, there's a lot of things that once you hit the real world are kind of intimidating if you don't have a little bit of skill or knowledge or experience with it. So I wanted to help bridge that gap for middle school and high schoolers so when they go to college or when they get a career that they feel prepared for that.
So I heard you have some volunteering opportunities. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I just finished up giving some presentations to some of the seniors at Intercom, and it was great. So basically we have so many different opportunities that people can help with events, or they can create events that they're passionate about, as long as we go through kind of the process and the proposal process. But they've got the opportunity, students, middle school and high school, to pitch a project that they're interested in or an event and then see it come to light. So not only are you just volunteering a couple hours, but you're behind the planning process of it. And so that really gives them some skills that they can take into college or into a job that puts them above the rest of people. And so also, there's social media content. That's something that's free marketing. So we've got room for people to help out with that. Videoing different events, so we've got room for videographers, and then also creating digital flyers. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to volunteer.
Okay. What obstacles have you faced throughout your journey?
There's a lot of obstacles, especially when you kind of switch career paths. So I was in public education, and then I go to kind of create my own nonprofit. So I think the first obstacle is just creating a network of people around you that have been through that and can kind of guide you through that path, especially when it's something you're not comfortable with or you don't have a lot of background in. So just finding that network and really figuring out kind of the direction of where to go. Because in school, your days are very structured. And then when you start a business, it's very different. So you're on your own. One of the obstacles is kind of the self-discipline piece. You've got to really hit your targets and your goals each and every day. And so you have to stay on top of yourself and have people around you that are going to hold you accountable. So it's been a great learning experience, and I feel like I learned something new every single day.
Did your high school experience influence your decision to pursue this career at all?
Somewhat. So I always wanted to be a teacher and work with kids. I played sports growing up, so be involved in sports too. And that's what I studied in college, went to school for. But then kind of having that experience of seeing this gap, I really kind of switched paths into the nonprofit world. So it helped a little bit in terms of guiding me through that. But with business and starting your own business, it's a whole new ballgame. I had no experience. So I would say in that regards, it did not help me.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about your job?
My favorite thing is connecting with the kids. So getting to those events, sponsoring the events, coming to speak to high school students, just so because when you see that light come on, when they realize their potential and they see that they've got opportunity in this world that was bigger than they ever imagined, that's what really makes everything worthwhile.
Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years. So I see Strive Giving being nationwide. So it being a name kind of like Susan G. Komen with breast cancer and some of those really big nonprofits and foundations, to where people are recognizing it across the state, across the nation, not just in Northern California.
In the United States Army and Army Reserve, leadership is earned every day. In addition to earning leadership, you can earn up to $80,000 towards your college degree. For more information, contact Staff Sergeant Coombe at 916-214-6457.
What core values do you have that motivate you to do this type of work?
There's a lot, and I think it stems back from sports when I played softball in the Division I level in college. So you really have to set goals or set targets that you want to reach. So that's so incredibly important in terms of hitting your goals, especially when you're starting a company or at the top of your company. You've got people holding you accountable to those goals. You've got to have determination and grit, because if you're just, if you're going to just take it easy this day, it's just not going to cut it. You're not going to make those connections that you need to make. And then really getting outside of your comfort zone, that's been huge for me in terms of I was not comfortable meeting with business leaders who have been in the business for 20 years. So getting outside your comfort zone and pushing yourself to that limit, I think, is one of those obstacles that you face, but that you have to keep pushing through.
Are there any areas you feel that you could still improve in?
Absolutely. Always. So each and every day I feel like I'm continuing to improve my communication skills. I mean, even just today with the presentations, I felt like my 5th and 6th period presentations were better than my 1st and 2nd. So communication skills are huge. And then really pitching your product, I think, every day, whether it's an idea or a product, or even if you're pitching yourself. That is something that I think I can improve on every day, and I think that really everyone could be working on throughout their entire life, because life changes and you've got to re-pitch yourself. So big on the communication, and that's something that I will forever work on.
Where did you get your undergraduate degree?
So I actually went to East Tennessee State University. So it was in Johnson City, Tennessee, about 4 hours from Nashville, and I played Division I softball there. So that's kind of what brought me out there from California.
What is the best way to enter this occupation?
I would say first you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for helping people or giving back or really finding a problem that you want to solve. And then it's really about kind of doing your research and tapping into organizations that are already there. So I would not be able to kind of be where we're at with the organization unless I had reached out to people who knew what they were doing. Because at the beginning it was just an idea, and now it's come to fruition. So you really have to network and make sure that you're tapping into the right people to help you out.
What are some major job roles involved with your line of work?
Major job roles. So I would say event planning is a major job role. So we plan events for different students at different schools. So event planning is a major role. Fundraising is huge for nonprofits. So really trying to figure out how you're going to bring funds in, grants or different events that you host. And then marketing. So finding free ways to market. And I'm not a marketing major, but just doing those 3 things really helps kind of propel a nonprofit forward.
What kind of salaries can someone in this line of work expect?
It ranges. So you can, as an executive director, you can make $40,000. Depending on the nonprofit, you can make all the way up to $100,000. It kind of depends on how big your nonprofit gets and where your funding comes from. So it ranges, and right now we're at the bottom end, but our goal is to get to the top end because we want it to make it nationwide.
What particular skills or talents are essential for this occupation?
You really have to have great communication skills. So you have to be able to organize your thoughts, get them from paper out into talking to people. You have to be able to present yourself, whether it's to a business leader, to another nonprofit leader, to the kids that you're working with. So communication skills are huge. Time management is really huge. You have to make sure that you're balancing your day with those activities that are going to make money for you. So they're called like the income-based activities. You've got to make sure that you're reaching out to different funding opportunities. And then the marketing is really big, just to get your name out there. So social media is a new experience for me, and that's something that is really huge in this world of technology, to get your name out there, especially when you're working with the youth.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Get the skills to be a beauty professional. We offer hands-on training alongside creative artists and industry leaders in a fully equipped modern salon through our cosmetology, barbering, and aesthetics program. Call 916-418-7223 or visit federico.edu and start your new career today.